Finally, it's here, week one for the Wisconsin Badgers. It'll be a three-game homestand, if you will, to open the season. Game one, under the lights, Saturday night against Illinois State. As the long off-season program, the winter conditioning, spring football, and of course the training camp, but the games finally begin. We'll hear from Badgers head coach Paul Chryst. We'll also check in with Shawn, Snee, the Badgers strength and conditioning coordinator, and we'll visit with QB1 quarterback Graham Mertz as we get ready for week one of the 2022 season. All of that coming up on today's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
Play fake Mertz, back to throw, lines up. He's a deep right side. DK got it. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Here comes Herbert. He knocked it loose, and the Badgers will pounce. He's gone. Braylon Allen all the way. Another turnover forced by the Wisconsin defense. There is a big, big win for the Wisconsin Badgers.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by UW Health, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org. And is brought to you by the Construction Business Group, Wisconsin operating engineers and respected contractors. BuildingWisconsinTogether.com. And by Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
When you've been injured, you need the hometown team on your side. Trust us to get you back in the game. Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. One call, that's all.
You'll hear things like, you're gonna need to see a specialist.
That what you have is serious, like really serious.
And then you meet them, your medical team.
With research and clinical trials and new treatments.
With better procedures that lead to better results.
Then it hits you, you're gonna be okay.
UW Health. Remarkable medicine. Remarkable care.
Backed by popular demand, Hy-Vee drive-through flu shot clinics. Just follow the signs in your Hy-Vee parking lot to get your flu shot right from your car. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment or prescription is necessary. Drive-through flu shots are offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Or get your flu shot inside your Hy-Vee pharmacy at any time with no appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, you get a 20-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. WEAbenefits.com.
Injured? You need a team you can trust. Call Gruber Law Offices today, serving the people of Wisconsin for over 30 years. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Badger Athletics. One call, that's all.
Well, as mentioned, finally it's here, week one for the Wisconsin Badgers. They get ready for Illinois State to open the games finally. I know, Paul, we talked about it. You mentioned it down at the Big Ten Media Days with everything going on, everything swirling around the world of college athletics. It's still about the game, still about the players continuing to develop, and I would imagine that's pretty refreshing for everybody, knowing that there's still a lot that's normal, kind of been the same, and you embrace all of that.
Yeah, I really think so. And that's not, we all know there's a lot going on and there's a lot of talk about college football, but, kind of hit me when we were getting ready for the season and certainly the Big Ten Media Days right before that. And you realize there's a lot of things that are the same, and that's where, appreciate the effort that guys gave in training camp, and it felt like a lot of training camps and then the excitement of getting ready for the first game of the year. I mean, all of that, and the game still is the game, and the things that we've got to work on are still, playing good football, and whether it's offensively, defensively, special teams, the same coaching points, and yet our guys being excited for that opportunity to play. And so it is fun to have the game upon us.
The structure of training camp has certainly changed, and that's probably an understatement,
Right.
not just here, but at the NFL level. Does that make evaluations, does that add a challenge to that just because of the less contact that goes on, the less live tackling? Does that affect evaluations much?
You know, I think it's our responsibility to try to figure out a way and to there where you still have an accurate evaluation, and more importantly, the young men have a fair chance to get ready for a season, and you're always feel like you're kind of balancing it off, and yet you know, I've always felt like there's camps never long enough, and that, we were around when there was 2 days and whatnot, so I might be the wrong one to be asking on that, but I think it's really the evaluation part. I think that comes, and the biggest thing is for each individual to be able to, one, get enough reps where they can grow and where they can make a mistake, learn from it, and then go out and get another chance to do it. And I think that's how you build confidence and then get yourself, ready to play a season. I think that's the fine line. There is a sport when you've got to play it, and then the contact and the physicality is part of it. And I think our guys have done as well as you can in trying to handle that. And so I feel like we're ready. But when saying that, I also have always felt like, boy, we could use another week of camp.
The growing obviously never stops, but when you look back to the spring, even with some of the younger guys, if it's a Skylar Bell, a Marcus Allen, any number of other players, do you like the trajectory that they're on from what you saw in April to what you see out of them now?
Without a doubt, and especially for you mentioned a group that's when they're getting the first or large number of repetitions for the first time. And there's a natural opportunity, and you would almost expect, or at least certainly hope for, but we are getting a lot of growth there. But what I've appreciated, a guy like C.J. Getz, a guy that's played a lot of football, but you can see his growth and development. I think he's a better player today than he was at the end of spring, and so you see that across the board. We've got a couple linemen that, Joe Tippmann missed spring, and so for him to get a chance to go in and play, and Jack Nelson moving out to tackle, that's been really good for him. And so, Keanu, I thought Keanu has done a good job, and Nick Herbig, really good player, but I feel like he's really been purposeful in what he's done, and so I do think that, shame on us all if we're not getting better, but I think guys have taken advantage of that.
About a minute left here. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about James White. Of course, former Badger great, really respected in the NFL. Tom Brady says, congratulations on a perfect career. Brady's career is probably pretty close to perfect, but that's James, though, and just what a productive player, but how respected he is, too.
That's exactly it, and you can talk to, you mentioned the New England teammates. You could say the same for every teammate that was with him here, and you couldn't be more excited for what he did and certainly accomplished, but who he's been throughout his career as a person. And he's a guy that I've always admired, and you look at it and we don't know, and he doesn't know exactly what the next chapters will bring, but he'll be successful. Got a great family, but it truly was an awesome career, football career, high school, college, NFL. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, obviously Badger fans know what James did here. 3 rings, Super Bowl rings with the New England Patriots. Really was the catalyst in that incredible comeback victory against the Atlanta Falcons in one of those Super Bowls. Stay with us. We have more to come. We'll hear from strength and conditioning coordinator Shawn Snee, as well as quarterback Graham Mertz, as the Badger Sports Report continues.
You'll hear things like, you're going to need to see a specialist.
That what you have is serious, like really serious.
And then you meet them, your medical team.
With research and clinical trials and new treatments.
With better procedures that lead to better results.
Then it hits you, you're going to be okay.
UW Health. Remarkable medicine. Remarkable care.
Backed by popular demand, Hy-Vee drive-through flu shot clinics. Just follow the signs in your Hy-Vee parking lot to get your flu shot right from your car. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment or prescription is necessary. Drive-through flu shots are offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Or get your flu shot inside your Hy-Vee pharmacy at any time with no appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, you get a 20-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver.
We're in a great spot. Do not shut it down now. All right, there'll be workouts and train heroic. Stay on it.
We've said this many times over the years when players speak at banquets or whatever the occasion, the people that they always mention are athletic trainers and strength and conditioning coaches. We're with the director of strength and conditioning for the Badger football program, Shawn Snee, who joins us now, and it's true, right? They wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. You spend more time with these guys, you and your staff, than position coaches. That's just the nature of the job, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a while ago now, but about 6 years ago they did a study, and 85% of the time was with the strength and conditioning staff while they're here on campus with football activities. Now, recently, right, with the hours being increased with coaches, I mean, still about 75% of their time is with us. This is year 8 for you here. The fascinating thing, even for a layman like me, is when I talk to people in your line of work, always reading, always catching up on latest trends or just new techniques. Can you put it, speaking of the word layman, can you put it in layman's terms, what has changed in the world of strength and conditioning, even in the time you've been here at Wisconsin? So I would say, yeah, every year it's evolving. I mean, strength and conditioning is still a relatively young field compared to football itself, right, with coaches, about 40-some years. But yeah, every year there's something new coming out. This year was a big thing on the death to 300-yard shuttles and running distance, and older strength coaches, that's how they started, because just that's what the data was showing and the research. But now it's about more short duration sprints, just like you're doing on the field on game day. So you want to get the athletes used to, it's almost like play drives. So you have 4.5 seconds average length of a play. You got about 35 seconds average length of rest between plays. So what are we trying to do? Mimic game day, and we're going to work that energy system during conditioning on Fridays, what we did. So the bigs would go 10 yards back, sprints, right? We do repeated sprints, about 16 reps, take a break, and try to go again. You're towing that line on conditioning. Then each week you build it up, a linear progression to that. Then skill are trying to go 35 yards and back, 20 yards and 35 yards, and then the mids are trying to get 30 yards. And the same thing, they're going to try to get 12 repetitions with 25-second rest between, mimicking exactly the work to rest that they're doing on game day.
You mentioned the word rest. Is one of the things that, and this is really true with basketball, with the season, with a 2-semester sport, but I've got to think here too, rest and recovery. Those are words I hear a lot in athletics, and maybe people don't think of that when they think of strength and conditioning. It's get in the weight room, get in there as much as you can, do all the other stuff, but how big of a factor is that with these guys, those two words, rest and recovery?
Biggest thing is sleep. Sleep is the magic pill. Everyone's, looking at social media, trying to find the next new exercise that's going to make them great. When sleep, that's your magic pill. Being consistent, working every day, pushing yourself. Our model for the off season was remove the governor. Dave Edwards sent a message from office. That's kind of mean. No, not from office, right? It's like the old school of the car, having the governor on, trying to remove that. So, the guys took that motto and they really hit it in full stride in the winter. Built on it in spring ball. Still had a lot of guys PR after spring ball, or after 5 weeks of spring ball. Still had 47 guys PR in the weight room. And then the summer, same thing, day one. Even a low day for us this off season, this summer, was nowhere near what it's been in the past. Right? You still finish the day and are feeling really good about it, even though, yes, it was down subpar from what the day before, but it was still way above previous bars in the past.
PR, by the way, personal records, and you dropped some numbers there. Was this an unusually high number of players who set personal records?
Yes. Now, didn't keep track in the past. It was something new we started this year to kind of to gain, to see the progress that guys had in the summer and the off season. But yeah, we had 80% of guys PR in the weight room, not including freshmen. Otherwise, that number, every freshman should PR unless you're really not doing your job right. But so not including freshmen, we had 80% PR. We had 180 PRs in the weight room out of the 3 lifts: clean, squat, and bench. And we felt like the guys really attacked it all summer. I'm a big player-driven coach, and I believe that, yes, you can, philosophize and give them speeches, but really you got to send them messages and hope that they take off with the message and start implementing that day in, day out, and that's what they did. I don't like to single too many guys out with that, but Skylar Bell was one of them. Alex Smith, he had a terrific offseason, just worked day in, day out, stepped up as a big leader for us. Herbick, Keanu, a lot of the seniors, the names that you want, right? And then Jack Nelson. I was messing the other day, like, you're looking more and more like a Big Ten O lineman, just the way he gained almost 80 pounds in his back squat. And to going into this year after what he had some setbacks last year, but that's a big improvement for him. I think he's really going to stand out. Honestly, the list is quite long, which when we did top performers into summer, it's a great problem to have. When you're sitting there trying to figure out which guy to narrow down to the top 10, it's a good problem.
And some of those names that you mentioned are among the most recognizable. Every coach in no matter the sport, you want your best players to be the hardest workers, make the gains. Sounds like that's happened here over the summer.
Absolutely. And then what I liked about, so you're going into your test days at the end of summer, you didn't know a difference between Group 1 and Group 2. Skill guys are training just as hard as the bigs, linebackers, everyone is training just as hard equally. And what also I liked was if a guy missed a back squat, the guys got around him, rallied him, and then he ends up add some weight. I like to do that, add a little more weight after they fail, and then he gets a PR.
Final thought here, when you get into the guts of a training camp or into the guts of a season, what's the program like? What are you doing with these guys in the weight room?
So during camp, a lot of practice in a short period of time, but we're still looking to train at least legs once a week, upper body once a week. So we're keeping volume low. Intensity is still relatively high for us. We're a true developmental program. We're not going to let them lose the gains that they got in the offseason, all that hard work they put in. Don't want to see them start week 1 at 80% of what was their 100%, right?
Gotcha.
So we're still pushing the envelope. But as the season starts, then we'll start ramping it back up. Camp, we have to bring it down.
All right, Shawn Snee, the Badgers Director of Strength and Conditioning. We have more to come. Stay with us. This is the Badger Sports Report.
Hard work, sweat, knowledge in your own 2 hands. These are the tools that build Wisconsin. Leave your mark on the real world with zero debt and higher pay. All from day one. It's time to do work that works for you. Learn more at buildingwisconsintogether.com.
My favorite breakfast is Odyssey yogurt. I asked Mommy where it comes from, and she took me to a dairy farm to learn all about milk and, most importantly, cows. Wisconsin cows are definitely the happiest, which means they make the tastiest yogurt. My favorite is blueberry. What's your flavor? Support your local farmers. EIEI Odyssey.
Season's first show, we got to have the quarterback on as we visit with Graham Mertz. And, Graham, we had a chance to talk a little bit over the summer at a charity softball game, and I'm listening to you in Indianapolis in media days, and I'm just going to throw this out. When I hear you and your excitement about this team, there are a lot of faces, names that aren't familiar yet to a lot of fans. But I just get the impression that's like, I know something you don't about this team. Am I reading that right? I mean, you kind of like this group.
I love it, and I love every one of them. And for me, going in my 4th year of being on this team, you see a lot of different teams and how guys interact. But I said something at media day that it's not just a team; it's a true brotherhood, and that's what I'm most excited for. Because it's that common goal of how can I do my job better to free these guys up to go play and go have fun playing and go make plays. So when you get a giant group like that's all having that same wavelength, it's a special thing to be around. So it's been a blast so far.
It's interesting. We all know 2 years ago everything was disrupted and what you could do. Last year a little bit more normal, but this year it sounds like it's ramped up even more, where you guys work like crazy during the day, but you can spend some time together, have some fun, enjoy Madison, enjoy the campus. Sounds like you're able to do all the above this summer.
We had a fantastic time, and the best part was none of it was forced, and that just goes to show the place we got here. You got a group of 120 guys that all love spending time with each other. Whether it be golfing, grilling out, just hanging around a fire, or just watching a movie. There's so many different things, and obviously in Madison you got a bunch of different things you can do. So whether that be going to the terrace or walking around state, there's so many different things. So we definitely had a great off season, but I know this group's ready to go.
Tell us where your level of readiness, not just you personally, but as an offense, from the beginning of spring, Coach Ingram coming in, how you felt breaking camp, and now. Is it you just feel like, okay, this is all kind of making sense what he wants? You feel pretty good about things there?
Yeah, you go through the 4 phases of the off season, and you start in the winter, and that's kind of setting the foundation of all right, what do we want to be and how we're going to do it? And then you go into spring ball and you try to execute it. And that's where the major growth happens is you learn from the mistakes, you learn from what went well. And then you go in the summer, and the coach is there for a little bit, but then they head out, and it's my job to kind of keep that going. So that was a really fun part for me, was just to really narrow in those details in the summer, whether in throwing in the meeting rooms with the guys, and now we just go as Coach says, just sharpen that blade a little bit more in fall camp. But yeah, we set the foundation, and we've learned, we've made some minor tweaks, and now it's just about making sure it's ready to go.
I was mentioning some players that fans aren't that familiar with yet. They saw Marcus Allen a little bit, saw Skylar Bell in the bowl game. We're going to get to know Keontez Lewis moving forward. Everybody knows Chim. That looks like and I could keep going, but that's a pretty good place to start. That looks like a pretty good combo of athleticism. You got, look at Marcus, you got some bulk there too. Imagine a quarterback doesn't hate looking at that group as you get ready to throw the ball.
Not at all, man. It's a really special group, and the cool thing about them is they have that internal competition of it's not me versus this guy. It's this group versus everybody else, and they want to max out what they got in that room, and they're going to do it together. And that's what excites me as a quarterback, is having that and knowing that that's what they want. It's truly a special thing.
Okay, a little fun here. I know you're making the rounds during Big Ten Media Days. Glad to see you survived the shrimp cocktail. I know Coach Chryst likes to have fun with
and the
people
tomahawk.
Yeah, exactly. You got through all that.
It was such a pain.
Was it overall a good experience? I mean, you have wave after wave of people asking the questions, but I don't know how much you can mix and mingle with other guys in the league. But what was the whole Media Day thing in Indy what you had hoped it would be?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, first off, the Big Ten did a fantastic job of setting it up to where it just kind of flowed perfectly. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to sit and talk to some of the guys on other teams, but it was fun just to spend time with Herbie and Nick, or Herbie and Keanu. We definitely got a little bit closer, and but yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was fun being on the podium and having some kids walk up and ask some fun questions. So it was a blast.
And then the other question, I mentioned the softball game. Football guys dominated, of course, with the basketball team, which was, probably didn't surprise you at all. What'd you think? What kind of actual baseball, softball skill existed there? It seemed like there was a little bit of talent out there in the field that night.
Yeah, not me hitting the ball. That was definitely not one of them. Yeah, Sam Decker was just crushing it. Coach Melhoff was going yard every time he stepped up there. They had to roll him the ball because he was hitting everything out. Obviously, Alec, he had to put some out of the park, but no, it was definitely fun.
Yeah, it's a fun thing when you see guys come back too, right? I know you had a chance to talk to. I know things have been written about it. You talked to Brooks, obviously Scott Tolzien, but when you see a guy like Alec Ingold come back to have an event like that, it tells you that it's more. You want to win as many games as you can, but it's about a lot more than that, isn't it?
It's about a lot more, and that just speaks to what this university is about, and the tradition, the history, and just the love that people have for it. I mean, I've been here for going on my 4th year, and every day I fall in love more and more with this place, and it's a place you want to give back to. So it's fun to be a part of things like that. It gets you excited for down the road when you can come back and do something like that. So it's definitely a special place.
And the best part about all of this right now, talking season's wrapping up, and you get to go play. It's the best, right?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Graham Mertz, Badgers quarterback. Stay with us. We'll have more in a moment. This is the Badger Sports Report.
Hard work, sweat, knowledge in your own 2 hands. These are the tools that build Wisconsin. Leave your mark on the real world with 0 debt and higher pay. All from day one. It's time to do work that works for you. Learn more at buildingwisconsintogether.com.
You'll hear things like, you're gonna need to see a specialist.
That what you have is serious, like really serious.
And then you meet them, your medical team.
With research and clinical trials and new treatments.
With better procedures that lead to better results.
Then it hits you, you're gonna be okay.
UW Health. Remarkable medicine. Remarkable care.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by UW Health, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org. And is brought to you by the Construction Business Group, Wisconsin operating engineers and respected contractors. BuildingWisconsinTogether.com. And by Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. One call, that's all.
We thank quarterback Graham Mertz, strength and conditioning coordinator Shawn Snee, and of course head coach Paul Chryst for joining us on our season opening show of the year. The Badgers in Illinois State, Saturday night, 6 o'clock kick at Camp Randall. On our next show, we'll recap game number 1 and get you ready for Washington State as the Pac-12 opponent rolls into Madison for week 2. Thanks for watching.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.
Backed by popular demand, Hy-Vee drive-through flu shot clinics. Just follow the signs in your Hy-Vee parking lot to get your flu shot right from your car. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment or prescription is necessary. Drive-through flu shots are offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Or get your flu shot inside your Hy-Vee pharmacy at any time with no appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, you get a 20-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver.
We believe in education. We believe in public schools. At WEA Member Benefits, we believe in helping Wisconsin public school employees and their families achieve their financial goals by providing personal insurance, retirement and investment, and financial planning programs that are designed specifically for the education community. WEAbenefits.com.
My favorite breakfast is Odyssey yogurt. I asked Mommy where it comes from, and she took me to a dairy farm to learn all about milk and, most importantly, cows. Wisconsin cows are definitely the happiest, which means they make the tastiest yogurt. My favorite is blueberry. What's your flavor? Support your local farmers. EIEI Odyssey.